Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On October 2nd, 2016, a year ago today, we released the final version of Jumatech Hotel. My name is Werewolf and I am the map's creator. To celebrate a year since its release, I'm going to show you all of its Easter eggs and talk a little bit about them. This is the definitive guide to Jumatech Hotel. A quick note before we begin. Many objects in this map make use of a use key to interact with them. As you cannot see when a player is using a use key, this graphic will be displayed in the bottom right hand corner of the screen anytime I am using it. This will help you understand which map features are activated with a use key and how. With that out of the way, let's begin. The first thing players will see when joining the server is the spawn hub. Hidden in the roof is the first of 20 ducks, this one being the default duck. The other 19 ducks are the 9 red team ducks, the 9 blue team ducks, and the Saxton Hale duck. So here they all are. The blue scout is up on the roof, hiding on one of the air conditioning units. The blue soldier is sat on the hood of one of the troop trucks in the car park. The blue pyro is in the furnace, baiting players into coming in. That's literally why he's there, to bait people into coming into the furnace. The blue demo man is the most hidden of all the ducks due to it being clipped into the brewing vat, and being quite high up makes him hard to see from below. But there he is. The blue heavy is stuck in the ice in the freezer, but he's from Siberia so he's used to it. The blue engineer is overseeing the cart area. The blue medic is in the cinema, sitting on top of one of the speakers, and presumably has gone deaf from it. The blue sniper is above the maze. He was put there just because I wanted to spread the ducks out and needed one of them in that part of the map, so yeah. And the blue spy is chilling out beside the pool. The red scout is on top of the sauna, perving on people in the hot tub. Yeah. Red soldier is manning the door to the bunker. The red pyro is in one of the deep fat fryers in the kitchen. The red demo man has drunk himself under the table outside. The red heavy is in the library doing some light reading. The red engineer is at his workbench down in the basement. The red medic is in the Wendy house dispensing dehydrated water. The red sniper oversees the gun range. The red spy is waiting to drop down on people in the laundry room. And finally, the Saxton Hale duck is guarding the supplies in the bunker. And that's all 20 of them. People have asked me if the ducks do anything, and I have to report they don't. They are static props, added to give people a reason to explore the map by giving them something to find. That's all there is to it. In the spa is the pool, which can be drained by going into the basement. In the maintenance room is this console beside a window, looking into the pool. Pressing Use on the left hand side of the console will cause the pool to drain. Besides the console is a septic tank, which will fill up with all the crap from the pool. I like to imagine that people are cleaning the pool when they do this, and all that green toxic crap is where people have been taking craps in the pool. If the hot tub isn't hot enough for you, you can heat it up. Pressing the dial on the scales beside the sauna will drain the hot tub of water and replace it with lava. Into the restaurant now, and probably the worst joke on the map, it's a fish cake in the fish tank. Yeah, I thought it was funny. Moving on. Into the kitchen now, and we have a few more subtle jokes. One of the ovens has a minor fault. If you press Use on one of the dials of the left hand oven, it seems to overcook a lot of food. On the herbs and spices rack, we have some ingredients that don't quite belong there. Catnip isn't a spice, but it's basically marijuana for cats. Ketchup isn't a spice. In fact, 9 out of 10 professional chefs agree that if you put ketchup on restaurant food, you deserve a special place in hell. The 10th chef works here. Mace is actually a spice, but it's also one of the core ingredients of mace spray, the stuff used by police and riot control. Tastes good on eggs though. Moving into the store cupboard, we have a box of duck meat and a box of bonus ducks in case Merasmus decides to visit. And for any sniper guests, we have meatballs. An easy to miss noise, but pressing Use on the mouse hole plays the sound of a mouse squeaking from Undertale. Although I've not played Undertale myself, this was added at a friend's request. most literal Easter egg in the map is an actual Easter egg. This was originally added way back in Beta 2 for an Easter egg hunting contest, where players had to find a number of smaller eggs hidden around the map. This larger egg was in spawn so that players knew what the smaller eggs looked like. It moved around for a few versions before eventually ending up here in the freezer. Way back when the map was first being planned out, one of the earliest ideas Snaggle and I had was to recreate that scene from The Simpsons where they're in a cinema and the sound from the THX intro is so loud people's heads explode. This is why the speakers also explode and the windows shatter. The effect was added long before the map's no kill zone was added, and to remove the explosions would lessen the joke, so they were left in even though they don't hurt anybody anymore. It's activated by using the use key on the projector, and it has a cooldown of 30 minutes. Archimedes is the medic's pet dove, although he appears to have been spending more time with the Demoman recently. Before the bunker and nuke were well known about, I wanted to give players some hint that something bad might happen, because why else would a hotel need warning signs about a nuclear attack? Due to bad file compression and needing to shrink the signs down to a realistic size in-game, you can't actually read them anymore. But here you can see the original uncompressed image I used. Both presidential suites have a small hidden safe. By using your use key on the far left pots on the shelves, the panels slide up to show the safe underneath. Going down into the basement via the staff room and opening the fridge, we find many normal things like sandwiches and beer, and also a spy's head. This of course is a reference to Valve's Meet the Medic video, where we briefly see a spy's head in the fridge as the medic retrieves a spare heart. Hidden underneath this poster of a stern looking Uncle Sam advising you to stay sober is a brewery. These props came from Koth Moonshine Events, one of the maps released as part of the Halloween 2015 update, and honestly, when I first saw them in game, I just wanted to reuse them somehow. I wanted to have them in the map. So I created this hidden brewery where I like to imagine the staff are off making their own knockoff moonshine. This, I believe, was someone's spray. I don't recall what server I was on or where I first saw it, but I liked it, so I decided to add it somewhere. As the spa pool drains into the vat of toxic looking waste, I thought this would be a good place to put it. As you can't see it very well in game, here is the full-sized original image. Tucked away in the corner of the laundry room, beside some boxes, is this alien text. Unlike other secrets in the map, up until now I've actually denied knowing about it, pretending it's somebody's spray, in an attempt to make it sound more mysterious. Well, the mystery actually got solved back on the 8th of July 2017 by a player called Rexstrom, I hope I pronounced that correctly, who figured out the text is actually written in Aurebesh. For those of you who don't know, Aurebesh is the fictional language used in the Star Wars universe. Now I'm guessing you want to know what the message actually says, so I'll tell you now. It reads, "Yes, this is alien writing. No, it doesn't say anything important. I just added this as an Easter egg to waste your time. Well done for knowing Aurebesh, werewolf." I'd say it worked, considering it took 9 months before anyone figured it out. Another old Easter egg here, in fact one of the first ever made for the map. Sneaking around the basement is Solid Snake from the Metal Gear series. In this case Metal Gear Solid 2, because one of the boxes used is the Orange Box. The Orange Box was also the name of Valve's compilation of games that featured Half-Life 2, Portal and Team Fortress 2, so naturally it fits here. The joke for this is simple. The box moves around the room, but only when there are no players in the room to see it moving. As soon as the door to the laundry room is opened, the box will immediately stop moving. When the door closes again, the box will check if there are still players in the room. If there aren't, it will start moving again. Welcome to the New World Order's headquarters, or the Illuminati, whichever name you prefer. Added much after Solid Snake, access to the New World Order room is actually controlled by Solid Snake. If he is too close to the hidden door, it will remain locked and advise the player, "It's locked, someone must still be watching." The only way to unlock the room is to leave the laundry room completely for a while, long enough for Snake to be behind the crates in the middle of the room, at which point the door will unlock. Something else I have denied existing. This big black thing is the Monolith, a mysterious object from the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey. To paraphrase from Wikipedia here, monoliths are machines built by an unseen extraterrestrial species. They also influence the fictional history of the series, particularly by encouraging humankind to progress with technological development and space travel. End quote. On the wall behind the monolith is the eye sigil. It has been found inside various games and is thought to be part of some alternative reality game made by the developers of those games. Except none of those games were made by the same developers or same publishers. They have absolutely nothing in common. I have included a link to the Reddit thread explaining all this in much more detail in the description below. I'm not entirely sure how or where I heard about this story, but I found a picture and decided to include it in the map. Behind the maze is this happy piece of graffiti. You might recognise it as the mural that the blue pyro paints on the side of one of the cargo containers in the End of the Line video. Rather unusually, this is actually a very thin prop, rather than a texture applied as an overlay or a decal. Hidden underneath both lifts are a pair of dick butts. The only way to see these is to enter into one of the lifts and to suicide so that your ragdoll falls down into the bottom of the shaft. And they are not alone. There was a third dick butt hidden behind the bar in the cinema. You don't need to kill yourself to see that one. And now onto the random events. The map has a pool of 9 possible random events which you can pick from every 30 to 45 minutes. After being picked, an event can't be selected again by the system until all 9 events have been used. Let's look at them in alphabetical order. First up we have the 21 gun salute. In the last couple of beta versions, I added assets from the Frontline theme pack, which includes these anti-air guns and batteries. People wanted to know if they could be used at all, which they cannot because they are simple static props. But, thanks to an entity called TF Point Weapon Mimic, I decided to make a 21 gun salute. The rockets are completely harmless. When I was creating the TV props, I was experimenting with different skins I could make. One such idea I had was for Anonymous to hack the TVs in order to warn guests at the hotel of some form of danger. The danger in question ended up being the monolith. I used the audio from the message to create a separate video with added subtitles, which you can find here. The next event on our list is the cinema, which we have already covered. The random version simply unlocks the button, presses it, and relocks it again. This was another result of my experimentation with the skins for the TV props, and it was a cheap and easy jump scare, okay? And because I'm not that mean, here's that photo coming up nice and slowly, so no jump scares here. The sound effect for it comes from an old Halloween update. Back in 2010, part of the update was the inclusion of various noisemakers, one of which was a crazy laugh. You can't get those items anymore, but the sound effects for them still exist in game, so I simply reused one of them. The earthquake is a fairly simple 30-second event. There isn't much else to say about it, really. It's an earthquake. Moving on. Up next we have the false alarm. Apparently people like nukes, or maybe they like reasons to use the bunker, who knows. The false alarm event was added to make people think that the endgame nuke was about to come. After 5 to 10 minutes, the all clear is sounded and the map goes back to normal. However, there is a 1 in 5 chance that it could end up as a genuine red alert, which to some of you is good news. This is probably the least known of all the random events. The ghost simply floats around the basement of the map, passing through many of the rooms. He doesn't do anything to players, though in testing it did originally have a brief stun effect if you got too close to it. This was dropped because I felt players might find this annoying. Out of all the Easter eggs in the map, this one is my personal favourite. It's a reference to the 1960s television show Thunderbirds, which was repeated, those are reruns for you Americans, in the late 1980s and early 1990s when I was a kid. The music you hear as the pool opens is part of the show's theme tune. In the show, there was a secret organisation called International Rescue that was based on a remote island base and had a fleet of special vehicles, the so-called Thunderbirds. The Thunderbirds would remain hidden until they were needed, where they would launch from various hiding places. For Thunderbird 1, it was from underneath a swimming pool that would slide out of the way, opening up a hole for the craft to pass through. Much to my annoyance, a lot of people mistake this for the Endgame nuke, despite the fact that this one explodes after takeoff. I had planned on making a custom prop of Thunderbird 1, but I struggled with parts of the design, so I stuck with the placeholder prop I'd been using since first adding it. Also, the reason it explodes is so that I didn't have to make it teleport to the skybox and fly off like the rocket does in SD Doomsday. And finally, at the bottom of our list, we have the UFO. You can blame the Invasion update for this. It added a lot of UFO related props and effects, so of course I had to add some of them to the map. The music you hear as it flies by is the theme to The X-Files, a TV show about aliens and other weird goings on. And now we've nearly reached the end of the video, so let's go out with a bang. I previously mentioned how there is a small chance of the Endgame nuke appearing early, but some people have asked me why it's even there. Well, a fact of server maintenance is that they all need to be restarted at some point, or need to reload certain files periodically. Since day one, the map has had a timer on screen indicating when the game would end, allowing the server to do what it needs to do whilst the map changes over. Rather than having the game abruptly stop, I wanted to give players fair warning that the end was coming soon. The first warning for the endgame nuke always comes at the 3-minute mark in the form of a yellow alert. 2 minutes later, at the 60-second mark, it is upgraded to a red alert, at which point the door to the bunker is closed and the missile itself flies over the hotel, hitting a TV broadcast tower in the distance. Nobody, not even a medic with an Uber charge, can survive against the nuke. And that's it. That's all of the Easter eggs for this map. If the video gets enough likes, I'll make a part 2 covering the developmental history of the map with a focus on some of the things that existed in beta versions but got removed. My name is Werewolf, and thanks for watching. Goodbye. Oh, wait. I forgot something. I was meant to show you this.